All right, so I think you can look. This is where like finance really shines, quite frankly. As you look at Texas Instruments, you basically look at their earnings like a bond. I mean, it's better than a bond, obviously, because ideally it's growing over time. But like this is a steady earning stream, as steady as something stochastic will get. You know, you're looking at pretty reliable bond-like income, right? It's growing. But if we go back a little bit, the cycles might be even more apparent. Here's the real free cash flow. So you got 3.8, 4.1, 4.7, 6.1, 5.8, and then two more numbers here. So you basically get, you know, on average, call it $5 billion a year. What's $5 billion a year worth? I don't know, 100 bill. What's the market cap? 150 bill. It's probably going to be more than 5 billion. That's why the market cap's up so much. In the recent years, they were doing quite a bit more than that. But the recent years are also peak years, right? Semis are in a peak right now, cyclical peak. We hope the economy goes up forever, but we know it doesn't. We know there are such things as recessions, and semiconductor companies do the worst in recessions. They can actually lose money in recessions. So you kind of have to average out the good years and the bad years. You can't just look at the good years, which is what most people kind of want to do, especially in bull markets. So now we can go back even a little further, and you can see like what a lot of people would say, like they're a quote-unquote cyclical growth company, which is kind of a misnomer or whatever, an oxymoron. Or all right, so we get a couple more years of revenue, and you can see they really have not grown, right? They were stuck in this $13 billion range. And they finally kind of poked their head above into 18 billion. But look at, if you were an investor in this company in 2011 and they told you that in 2020 revenue would basically be the same, you know, maybe 5% higher, what would you say? No way, right? We're at the center of the semiconductor industry. We have to be able to find some way to grow better than that. Nope. So, you know, just something to think about. I'm not paying 20 times earnings for peak cycle cash flow. Hell no. This looks like a short. I hate to say it. 20 times earnings. You got me fucked up. Got me fucked up with that. That's what some of the guys in jail would say. Not sure what it means, but sounds cool. Tesla I like. Tesla's growing like a weed. The market thinks Tesla will stop growing, but yeah, crypto mining is not a big factor for semiconductors. It's a big industry. It's a big factor for ASIC makers, I'll say that, but these guys don't even make ASICs. Got me fucked up. Yeah, the woke people are going to stop buying Teslas, which is pretty funny. They're now going to buy GM. The least woke company. I support GM now. Oh, really? The same GM that fights their union? Oh, at least they have a union. I'm not a big fan of unions, as you can imagine. All right, I'm trying to go back to like when they had a big when there was a big recession. I don't like unions because I think, I don't know, I think they're sort of what economists look at as kind of like a control, where anytime you kind of try to control a market, including a labor market, you end up with these negative consequences. And we know that unions are corrupt. You know, unions don't really achieve what they're going for. You know, in an economy that relies less and less on labor, you know, I just don't know that, you know, we need a union. We need unions at all. I know Joe Biden's a big fan of this stuff, but maybe I'm not a big fan of Joe Biden, all right? There, I said it. Is that un-American? Or is it distinctly American? All right, so we've gone back a while for Texas. And we're still going back because I really want to see just click filing, because this is a time when they put the financial statements in a different box. Okay, we need to go back even further. Financial work is pretty boring, as you guys can see. It's, you know, this isn't chock full of excitement. There's not, you know, it's not a video game where, you know, it's a blast. All right, here's interesting. Here's the Great Recession, right? Look at how the revenue of Texas behaved. Went from $12.5 billion in 2008 to their worst year in decades, or at least in the last decade, of $10 billion. Then it shot up to $14 billion. It's kind of been consistent since then. Very interesting, isn't it? You know, what's really interesting is look at the R&D and SG&A they had these years, right? And they're able to chop that down quite a bit. Sort of more efficient business. Let me look back one more year. And look at that, in 2007, they had 13,835. Isn't that interesting? This is what a cyclical company looks like, right? 14 billion, economy's in recession, it goes to 12.5 billion and then 10 billion. After years of growth, you're like, oh, how could revenue drop 40%? Well, it does. That recession's over, revenue's back. Reminds me of a Young Jeezy song. So, semiconductor glut, one-time revenue boom, but in general, it's way too expensive. 150 billion for 5 billion a year. I think very, very expensive, if you ask me.